All right, to round out our Kingdom Wave 3 Deluxes, today we are taking a look at Deluxe Class Wingfinger. This is going to be the last of our little fossilizers as well, at least of the new molds. Probably the last one that I'm getting because I'm not really going to pick up the effects parts pack just because it's just a repaint of Ractonite that I don't need. But yeah, here we have Wingfinger in his some kind of pterosaur mode. Looks to me just like proportionally like a little bit like a Quetzalcoatlus or a Quetzalcoatlus or how, however it's supposed to be pronounced, which, you know, is basically think a pelican mixed with a giraffe. It kind of looks like that to me. So there's a few different things you can do with them in this mode. Like you can stand them up like this. This is how it's shown on the packaging and stuff. Obviously, you can bring the head forward and have it be in like a flying pose. But I kind of think it's more interesting and it looks a little bit better, other than him like standing up weird like Big Bird or something, to have him stand on like all fours. So what I do is I take the feet here, which become the hands in robot mode, and I rotate them around so they've got a bit of that angle, and that also hides the fists a little bit better, and angle the back a little bit, and then take these sections and bring them on like this so that the feet are actually touching the ground, and have him displayed like that. So he's kind of standing on all fours. Looks a little clumsy and awkward either way, to be honest. Like he's, even if it was accurate, which it's not totally accurate proportionally, like it's just kind of an awkwardly proportioned creature. But that's okay. I mean, these fossilizers are kind of weirdos anyway, and that's really does kind of fit in with the original Beast Wars vibe, which had some real freaks in it. So this guy is no exception. But yeah, like you can see some of the articulation here. Obviously, like a lot of joints, because he just comes apart, and they become completely different parts of the robot. But like swivel here, hinge here, hinge at this section right here, which you're not really supposed to use in this mode, but a swivel here, another hinge right below that, which mostly goes the one way. I mean, it's got kind of stoppers here, but that's actually how it bends in robot mode for the knees. So, it does also go that way. Hinges up here, lots of joints there in the arms. The head can rotate. It sort of like locks into place like this. So like it's a little bit hard to get it anywhere in between, like here, for example, and here. Um, but yeah, and then the mouth also has a bit of that going on, where it opens up like that. So it's hard to get it anywhere between here and just totally closed. But whatever. Nothing at the waist or anything like that. The legs, there's a hinge back and forth here, a swivel from where it pegs in, and then a ball joint here at the feet that become the robot mode hands. So yeah, he's a fairly posable thing, but he looks a little bit awkward no matter what, just because of his general proportions. But yeah, I'll show him off with the previous fossilizers. Here he is with Paleotrex and Ractonite and Vertebrake. So yeah, they're a pretty good team. It's kind of awkward that he's a Maximal and the rest of them are Predacons. I don't know. I mean, like, it seems weird to just have one of them be a Maximal, but in their defense, they are trying to do some of the repaints as Maximals. Like the Vertebrake repaint is also a Maximal, and I'm pretty sure the one that comes in the Blast Effect pack is also a Maximal. So they were trying to balance it out a little bit more, but for me, it doesn't really balance out so well, just because I want to only get the ones that have like the unified color scheme or whatever. And for these four, he's the only Maximal and the rest are Predacons. Little weird. I don't know. But whatever. They always kind of feel like they're like kind of their own separate third, or I guess fifth faction anyway. So I kind of treat them that way, even though they've got Maximal and Predacon symbols. It's like, they kind of feel like a team. And then the three combined, even though they're not all from the same team. So it seems like that's kind of how Hasbro is treating them too. But whatever. But yeah, they look pretty good together. To transform him, of course, he is a huge parts former. If that's something that bothers you, then I mean, clearly the whole conceit of this guy is not really something that's up your alley. But yeah, he actually doesn't have to do. You don't have to take everything apart. So here, you'll take the head, take it off like that. Take the actually, you don't need to. Yeah, here, take these bits off. It's like keeping in track of like what actually needs to come apart and what doesn't. You separate it right here. And then this section, which is like 5 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can just straighten out and then pull down the little nubs here where the wing bit's attached, and those will become his feet. And there you pretty much have his lower body all figured out. And then for this section, you take, actually, I don't even know if you need to take those off, actually. Yeah, you separate it up here. These little slots right here just tab into these bits on the, what will be the robot mode head. You pull it down like that, and then bring the ends forward, just like that. And then this section right here, you just pull back on this hinge to reveal his little visor. It's blue. It's kind of hard to see with my lighting, but there you go. That's what his head looks like. And then you take this peg right here, and it'll just peg into the top right there. And there you pretty much have his base robot mode. And then, I mean, obviously you can use these bits as like weapons for him, but for storage, they just have the head just pegged onto the back there like that. And then for both of these pieces, they have little slots right here that'll just go into little tabs on the back of the upper arms. And there you have Wingfinger. There we go. In his robot mode. And yeah, he's still real weird. Kind of looks like he should transform into like a stick bug or something. He's like very, very skinny. He's got like hardly any shoulders. Same. And yeah, he's very weird proportions, which of course bothers me even less in this mode because like I really like how these guys are just like real weirdos. Just these weird skeletal creatures that have like all sorts of screwed up anatomy. But yeah, no, he looks really cool. Kind of got like a ninja aesthetic going on, and especially because you can, take these pieces and turn them into little katanas basically or something like that. And his shoulders look a little bit less ridiculous when you're actually like posing him, but when you just have him standing straight, it's just like whoop, just a slope where his shoulders should be. But yeah, no, he's got a fairly good articulation. The head here is on a ball joint, so it can rotate, and you get a little bit of like wiggle side to side, but not a whole lot. The shoulders here rotate up and down like that. They're on a swivel. They've got a thigh swivel here. At the elbow, they can bend about 90 and then also rotate just because this piece just pegs in there. And then ball joints at the wrists. His waist joint, it's sort of like up here, the cut is. But this piece actually itself, like the piece with the peg on it, does also rotate on this piece. So if you want that peg to stay aligned with his chest, then you can also rotate it that way and have it look a little bit more natural. It's just like when you're posing him, the pegged on point gives before that rotation joint does. So if you're just doing it like naturally, then it always rotates like that. But you can move the peg along with it. At the hips here, obviously there's swivels from where these just peg in, and then they can hinge up, go back, go forward. He's got a thigh swivel just because the piece is pegged in, so it's like kind of below, it's like at the knee basically. His knee can bend like that. I mean, it can also bend at this joint, but it looks a little bit more natural here, I think. And then the feet can kind of tilt up and back and then also, spread a little bit. So yeah, fairly good articulation. I mean, you'd hope so, since he's made out of just like entirely detaching joints and like, weird bits that are meant to be posable and stuff like that. So, you can get some pretty cool poses out of him, despite the fact that he looks like kind of weird and skinny. But yeah, pretty good overall. Here he is again with Paleotrex, Ractinite, and Vertebrae. So you can see what all the fossilizers so far look like together. Again, I'm not going to pick up any of the funky multicolored ones. I think that the only like technical fossilizer that I'm getting left is the transmutate repaint of Paleotrex, but even that one feels kind of separate. For me, like, this is the fossilizer team, even though one's a Maximal and the other one are Predacons. But yeah, they all look good together. Here he is with his wave mates. We've got Trax and Scorponok. Again, they don't have much business being with each other, but those are all the Wave 3 Deluxes. But yeah, he's a pretty good figure. Now we're going to have to get to the fun part of the video. Because yes, this guy is a weaponizer, a fossilizer, whatever you want to call them. So the whole gimmick with him is that, you take him apart and turn him into all different pieces that you can create weapons and stuff like that. There is what was revealed to us is that there is a combiner with the three fossilizer deluxes that I'll show off. But first, I think it's a good idea to just show like what all the pieces actually are, like what separates, and then what you can do with them. So you've got these two pieces, obviously. Got the head separates, and then this bit back here will become the combined mode head for the fossilizer combiner. But for now, that here's a bit. This part, so the forearms can come off. These are all combined like that. Like you can't take it apart at the ball joint. I mean, you could, but to what end? And then right above the peg here, this piece comes off, and this is all one part. And then the lower legs come off, and then the upper legs come off. So these are all the parts that we're working with here. I thought at first that these were just like repainted pieces of the thigh pieces that came with Paleotrex, but they're actually completely different pieces. So they're not the same as these pieces. They actually have like a different amount of pegs and holes and stuff like that. So those are nice. Definitely good like connector pieces. This piece is kind of cool to like use as like a weapon, although it doesn't have like you'd have to peg something else into it, otherwise you're like holding it at the side, which is a little weird. This piece, yeah, I mean you can do a few different things with it. Obviously, like if you're making a bigger combined mode, then this can be like an arm or something like that. But yeah, I mean you get the idea. Like all the pieces can be used in a variety of different ways. Here, I'll bring in Cheetor here to show off just a couple of weapon configurations. One of the ones that they show is you can take this piece and kind of straighten it out, and then keep the head on the head, and then fold this peg back, and then you can peg this in here, and it kind of becomes like a big old pickaxe. That's pretty cool. Unfortunately, it does have like a hinge down here, so you have to like have figures hold it a certain way. Otherwise, it just kind of gives under its weight. But that's a pretty cool weapon. Another one, you can take this piece here, and I like to add these pieces, and then take these and plug them in there like that, and you can kind of have like a big crossbow sort of. And then because this piece rotates, you can also fold that down so that the handle is faced appropriately. And yeah, I mean, like with all of these guys, there's kind of a variety of different things you can do with them, but those are just two basic weapons, and I think that works pretty well. I think that the weapon modes for this guy look a little bit better than some of the ones on Paleotrex and Ractonite did. I mean, Paleotrex has some cool stuff going on, but Ractonite I always found kind of hard to give anyone like very good looking weapons. But yeah, that works. But yeah, I don't want to linger too long on the weapon modes, because like the real thing with this is the combined mode. So let's just get everything separated, and then we'll get into that. Just get a pile of parts here and bring on all the the parts from Paleotrex and Ractonite as well. Now, there is an official, I guess, combined mode that they showed off at the that Hasbro event where they revealed Wingfinger. It does not come with any instructions on how to make that. And I was trying to figure it out by just like fiddling around and kind of trying to replicate the images. And then I kind of realized like it doesn't actually look very good. So, so I decided to just spend my time trying to make a better looking combined mode. So, I'll show off one of my iterations. Obviously, the joy of these guys, like the whole play pattern is supposed to be like kind of, make it yourself and figure out your own combination. So, this is not official or anything like that. I'm just going to show one of my iterations just because I had a good time kind of coming up with it, and that's kind of the whole fun of these guys. So start off with the Ractonite's dino head, and you've got to fold down this peg here, which is always annoying on this guy. Come on. Get something to push it through. I don't know why they made this piece like have detents, because it always makes it really annoying when you're trying to get it underneath the jaw. But yeah, and then take the head bit from Wingfinger, the combined mode head, and then plug that on. That's how you're supposed to do it for the big combiner anyway. So we'll leave that, and then we'll fold that up. Okay, take this whole section here with the dinosaur head, peg that in there like that. Then what did I do? I had Arachnite's waist, and then put his legs on upside down, and then take Wingfinger's legs, and I kind of just spread them out so they're like that, and then make this part the toe instead of the other way around. In the official combined mode, they had like these bits as the robot mode's feet, and it was like super, super tall. It's just like, I don't know. That just kind of didn't look very good. And what did I do here? Okay, we're definitely gonna have to adjust the camera at some point, but I had this bit and plug that in as one of the arms here, or at least part of one of the arms. And then the whole body section of Ractinite, fold it out, fold the peg out on his head here, and attach the axe from Paleotrex. And that's, how did I have this? This was plugged in here somehow. Okay, I'll use that to balance him. All right, well, what did I have? Okay, this piece I definitely had as a shoulder on the other side. Then I think one of these. Take this guy. Is that right? Yes. Fold this back how it was for the pterodon mode. And then what's cool is that these little tabs here actually more or less line up with the little slots on the plate for Paleotrex's chest plate. So that kind of can peg together there like that and just kind of secure that together. There we go. And then, all right, had these pieces that I had pegged on like that, I think. Seems right. Where's the other one? Way over here. And then the wing pieces, kind of making a little claw here. And then to make the third part of the claw, the pterodon head. And that'll be his other hand. I sort of was trying to like do things a little bit asymmetrically. So like if I used this piece, you know, like this piece kind of mirrors this one in a lot of ways. So here, let me adjust the camera a little bit so we can get this guy at least mostly on frame. He comes kind of tall. Then what did I do? All right. I think I had the legs. Let me just pegged on here in the back, just to kind of bulk out the legs a little bit. Again, you know, it's all sort of whatever you want to make of it. And then these bits are really annoying because they, like, the peg hole is just a little bit too big for like every other piece, so they end up being a little bit loose no matter how you have them pegged in, aside from like, you know, the one place that they're supposed to go on Ractinite. So those can be a little bit annoying for like working with combined mode things. So then, yeah, there with the legs, peg that back on. Some of it is just like, you know, me being committed to trying to find places for everything. Ooh, there he goes. He falls over. Now I know I had these pegged on as sort of a shoulder pad that had the skull head kind of sticking out there. I thought that was kind of cool. Then bring this around to the back. This I think was just pegged onto the side. How did I? Interesting. I definitely just had this pegged onto the back somewhere, but I can't figure out how. One sec. All right, I figured it out. Okay. So you actually had this piece pegged on to the dino head like that, and then use this peg to attach it to the arm. So this stuck out the back. This I just kind of awkwardly put off to the side. And then that can attach there, just like that. Then this piece, I think I just had plugged into the back there. And then this one just pegged onto the back of the arm here and then attach the tail there, just so everything has somewhere to go. And I think that looks fairly okay. I mean, you know, he's kind of an awkward, lanky thing, but like that was kind of going to be the case no matter what with, with these fossilizer guys. And it looks at least a little bit less awkward than the one that they showed off in the images there. But like I said, the whole fun of these guys is you can kind of combine them and mix and match them however you want. So obviously you can really do anything with these guys. Like, you know, you see a lot of cool stuff come out where people buy like 5 Paleotrexes and make this horrible skeletal metal looking monster, and it's just really cool. And I might try to pick up multiple of them eventually, like if they start going on clearance or something like that, which feels like they might, because these guys do tend to shelf warm a little bit, just because, like, you know, most people want tracks and and other characters like that, you know, like the mainline G1 characters, or at least the you know, the Beast Wars characters, whereas these guys are kind of new characters, so they tend to be a little bit less popular, and then people don't like the parts forming, etc., etc. So probably see these guys show up on clearance eventually in some way, shape, or form. And I'd probably pick up multiple of them so you can do like a fun custom builds and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, as it is, these guys are really cool. Like, obviously, like, this is just my version of the combined mode. If you had multiple of each of these guys, you could probably do other crazy things. I've tried a couple times to try to make like a crazy combined alt mode, but it just looks awkward and kind of bad. So I don't know, someone smarter than me could probably figure it out. But you know, as for right now, this is kind of my version of the combined mode, and I like them all right. I mean, obviously not perfect, and some of the pieces are just sort of like tacked on rather than having like an intentional place to go, but it works. I'm not going to bother taking them apart to to end off the review, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all you have with this guy. Like, obviously, like, there's lots of different options for how you combine them and how you do weapons, and then you can use different parts from each of them to make different crazy combined weapons too, or different armor for your figures. Like, there's just a lot of possibility with these guys. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing. I do reviews every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And without further ado, here we have Transformers War for Cybertron Kingdom Deluxe Class Wingfinger.